Hello,
Hello,
I'm Sammi,
and I'm Steve.
and you're listening to Roseplate Special After Dark.
Yeah, we try to go with more moody lighting, but
The
also
MomTalk. Yeah, if you're watching this on YouTube or somewhere else with video, you can see we went moody
mood lighting.
because, yeah, we don't know if MomTalk is going to survive this episode of Roseplate Special covering probably episodes 1 and 2 of season 2 of The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
Oh, the
Because
best
that's all
show
I've
on
watched so far.
television.
Sorry.
It's this show is so funny too because it has like season 2 has taught me something, which is one, this is the power of reality TV is heroes and villains are just made in the edit, right? Like
Oh, yeah.
we're just constructing things. We're building things as we go here. Like everything that you knew from season 1 it matters less and less the further along you get through season
Mm.
2. And then also this is the like reality Bravo-esque show version of like Game of Thrones, basically, it seems like,
Oh.
because I, I feel there's usually in these types of shows, whether it's your housewives or your below decks and what have you, I don't think while there is a power structure and there's power struggles, especially with the housewives, I don't think it plays into the storyline as much. Where here it's like everybody's trying to stab the queen and take over and grab the throne from her, and I don't know, reap all the power of mom
Mm.
talk, whatever that is. I don't being the leader of mom talk doesn't sound great to me. I don't think I would want that responsibility. I'm available if they're recruiting actively, but
But you don't want it. You know what's so interesting? Okay, my mind went so many places just now because I wasn't paying attention to you. No, I'm just kidding.
I love that.
Um, no, like, okay, so Mean Girls, obviously.
Mhm.
Of course, everybody knows Mean Girls, but that movie was inspired by the book Queen Bees and Wannabes, which
Mhm.
is like a sociological study of like I'm trying to remember if it was middle schools or high schools. I want to say it was high schools and like the hierarchical structure of like schools and like these popular groups and stuff. Did you ever read it?
Mm-mm.
Okay,
No, I'm
I
familiar with the
did.
book, but I never read it, but it's one of those books where people have repeatedly told me,
Yeah.
"You gotta read it. You haven't read that? You seems like something you would read." Thanks.
Yeah,
Didn't
yeah.
do it
Well,
yet.
so I've read it,
Mhm.
obviously,
Oh,
and, I
nerd.
yeah, yeah, well, and I read it as part of I read it for a project that I did for a women's studies, class in college, where I talked about sororities and, like, how sorority structures are similar to, like, what was shared in Queen Bees and Wannabes and Mean Girls and all of that.
Mhm.
Um because of like all the hierarchy involved and yeah, this like coveted spot that people want to be in. And I sent surveys around because I was in a sorority, if you didn't know. And so I sent surveys around to like all the other houses because I knew at least like one girl in every house. So I was able to get them to distribute these surveys to their sisters.
Mhm.
And I mean, I don't know how real all the answers were. They felt real to me. The answers that I got back were really wild, like things that people did to like either fit in or get back at people in the house. Like I had
Ooh.
people talk about like stealing people's, significant others or stealing their stuff. Some people in a desire to fit in talked about, eating disorders and self harm and all of that kind of thing. But it was really wild to like, in our house, like the major conflict was just like, kind of more like bureaucratic political stuff. It wasn't
Mhm.
anything that was that big of a deal. It was just like, well, this person sometimes like talks over other people or it was like something really minor. That's what I
Mhm.
remember. It was just kind of like, um, yeah, just kind of like, oh, well, these people feel like need to be listening more to the house in general and I think the pressure gets to them or whatever. And
Yeah.
that's kind of how I thought it was in every house. So I was just like, it probably won't be like the most exciting thing, but it'll
It
be
was
interesting
juicy,
nonetheless.
though.
Yeah, and I was
Real
like, wow, and
juicy.
I'm pretty sure that they were real because like they knew that I wasn't going to share their names or anything like
Yeah,
that,
yeah.
that I was going to anonymize the data. I wasn't even going to identify the house, anything like that. Um and I mean, I even heard like rumors about, oh yeah, like during initiation in this one house, they'll make you take a picture in a bikini and then they'll circle your problem areas. And I was like, what? What?
I wish
Like,
someone would do that to me.
yeah, wild. Yeah. We
The
just
the whole photo would just have a red border.
be like, this is the
This
problem
is the
area.
problem.
Yeah, like it was so wild because like our sorority, they did like fake hazing during initiation to like
Mhm.
fake scare us or whatever. And then they're like, we like you. Why would we haze you? Like, we want you to be here. So why would we treat you badly? And I'm like, well,
So
I'm
you
just
gotta
saying,
prove yourself through
yeah.
barbaric humiliation rituals.
Right. And I mean, it is interesting because I do think sororities and mom talk do have a lot in common, especially like those
Mhm.
kinds of sorority structures that people think don't happen anymore and aren't real. And they are totally real and they totally happen. Just not in every house. But like there is this, yeah, desire to fit in. Someone's got to be on the outs. There's like weird power struggles, weird competition, and yeah, like I said, I've only watched the first couple episodes and I very tangentially follow like I don't even follow any of these women on TikTok or anything, but like every
Mhm.
once in a while I'll see something pop up. Like after the first season, I feel like I saw a lot of Taylor's videos and like the person I see the most is Whitney. I don't really see anybody else
Oh, yeah,
that
Whitney stuff
regularly on
pops up
TikTok.
on my feed pretty
I
frequently,
mean,
which is
okay, so here's my like I'm going to say everything now 2 episodes in and I will probably contradict myself like next time we record. But I do think Whitney is like one of the funniest people like out of Mom Talk. I do.
intentionally or unintentionally.
Both,
Both.
both,
Yeah, both is
both.
the answer.
And the thing is, when she tries to be funny, I think she's less funny. And when she just like doesn't try at all, she's really funny. And she
Mhm.
just needs to like lean into that and not take herself so seriously. And I think it's fun. And she makes the most like takes the most chances with her hair, and so does her husband. And I
So does
appreciate
her
that.
husband, yeah.
They both do. It's like I remember the first season, I was so confused because I was like, "Who is this?" Like every couple of minutes, it would be like
Mhm.
a different hairstyle, and I was like, wow, nobody cared about continuity and they didn't
Not
think
the
it was
slightest.
going anywhere. So they
No, but
just
it was
said,
so
wear whatever
fun
you want. Yeah.
because nobody addressed it. Like, no one was
Yeah.
saying anything, but I'm, like, screaming at my TV, like, "Why is his hair different? Is she getting a new husband every other, like, episode? What?" It was insane.
Yeah. It took me like a really long time. Now, and like we know that I think there's that only there, I'm trying to remember who. I think there's like two women on the show who are like confirmed not mega, and that's it. I'm pretty sure. And I'm gonna get all their names wrong because I don't even remember anybody's names.
Wow.
So I'm sorry. I'm still getting there, okay?
I'm
I'm
gonna make
still
you
trying.
flashcards.
Yeah, so like I know Layla is one, and I'm trying to
Mhm.
remember the other one.
Mm,
Could be the new girl,
the blonde girl?
like Miranda. Is it her?
Yeah.
The
No, I like how I
blonde
said the
girl.
blonde girl, like,
That
that's gonna be
really that really yeah, that really narrows it down.
totally narrows it down. No one's blonde. Yeah. Well, there's blonde girls, and then there's pregnant blonde girls, and then there's not blonde girls who may or may not be pregnant. That's how you figure out
Right.
who's who.
Yeah, anyway. So, yeah, I think it's those 2 who are not, and everybody else probably is. There's a good chance.
Oh,
So,
Taylor
t
too?
yeah, I mean, here's
Wow.
the thing. This is what I hope. I genuinely hope and pray that Taylor is just so deeply indoctrinated and wants to please her family so badly that
Mhm.
she just is like towing the line and getting along to get along, and she will
Yeah.
break free. There's like, I mean, I wish that for all the women on the show, but like, are you familiar with Free Ginger? Have you ever heard of Free Ginger?
No.
Okay, we're going to go deep into Christian fundamentalism snark culture real quick. Okay. I
A
promise
world I
it's a
didn't
fun
even
place.
know about. Okay.
Okay, well, so people who know me might not know this, I don't know. But Fundy Fridays is one of my all-time favorite YouTube channels, and I mean, just the most fantastic coverage of Christian fundamentalism that you could possibly ever hope to watch. I will make sure to put Fundy Fridays in the description for those who haven't checked it out. But I mean, just so many like I'm trying to remember how Jen started. I think they started with like really covering the Duggars pretty extensively, like
Yeah.
how wild they were. And like I do think Jen became partially interested as an offshoot because of Free Ginger and other places like that. So basically, to go back, um the Duggars are wild, right? They're part of um a very restrictive church that, like trains up a child and does the whole like keep sweet stuff and is like hitting your kids is like fine or whatever. It's like all that wild stuff. And for some reason that backfired. Shocking. But they're also part of like the Quiverful movement. And that basically means like have as many kids as possible because like they're going to serve in God's army. That's like part of the
Mhm.
idea of like being quiverful. So they're like part of this like Christian fundamentalist movement, whatever. And there was this website, I think it still exists. I haven't been on it in a million years, but called Free Ginger because people thought that Ginger out of all of the Duggars would be the one who would like rebel.
Mhm.
And like because she was kind of always the one that seemed to be breaking the fourth wall and looking right at the camera,
Mhm.
like Jim in The Office. And you're like, okay, so she's going to be the one who like, wears pants or whatever. Seriously. Turned out that it was actually Jill. It was actually Jill. So
Oh.
sorry, Jill. We did not realize that that was going to happen. But I think Ginger is like a Calvinist or something like that now, which is
Who's a
like
Calvinist? What year is it?
well, I'm just saying. Um,
1642? What do we
well, that's pretty left leaning for this crowd. Let's just put it that way. That's how
those wild Calvinists.
yeah. So anyway, so she changed a little bit, but Jill
Okay.
definitely changed the most. But anyway, so there are, people who will look at like Welcome to Plathville and the Duggars and things
Mhm.
like that and kind of speculate on who they think is going to break free from this, very restrictive religious upbringing or culture around them. And
Mhm.
obviously with Mormons, that's the same type of thing. Like there's this big pressure. I mean, whether you call it a religion or you call it something else, there is a lot of, I mean, much like a cult, let's just say, if you leave, you can be excommunicated and you can
Mhm.
lose a lot of like friends and family, and people may not talk to you after you leave. I mean, even we heard in like the first couple episodes when like the guys all go fly fishing, that's something that they talked about, right? So Zach talked about, well, yeah, we're not really going to church right now. And like, I'm getting some like really weird comments from people about it. And it wasn't, I mean, I'm sure part of it was that he looked like a complete narcissist on the show. And the other, yeah, I'm sure is like, oh, but now you're like not coming to church too. Like that's
Mhm.
pretty questionable, don't you think? And there's so many rules in Mormonism. Like I was just watching, I'll have to share this too. I was watching like a crumble cookie breakdown from like an ex-Mormon, and she talks about how like there's all these rules, that and then there are companies that emerge to serve these loopholes in Mormon
Mhm.
culture. And so she was talking about like the soda shops, and then there's like
Yeah.
this t-shirt brand that's designed to go right over your garments, cuz
Ooh.
like if your garments are showing, that's bad, but if you wear a t-shirt,
Scandaloso.
yeah, if you wear a t-shirt that's like exactly over your garments and the t-shirt is showing, that's fine.
So it's like garments for your garments?
Yes. It's garments for your garments. And so
Mormons are
there's a market
wild.
for this. Yeah. And as she's eating the crumble cookie, she goes, "You know what's so sad is that these taste amazing with coffee, but they'll never know."
Oh my god.
So that was really good too. I'll make sure to share that in the comments as well. But so this is like very much, as you can see, perhaps like a niche interest of mine.
Mhm.
Um and so I'm not saying that I agree with any of the ways that they think or are aligned in terms of ways that are like exclusionary or hateful. However, I do believe that deprogramming takes a really long time. It
Mhm.
oh my gosh, what's the other name for it? Not deprogramming, but what do they say when they're like when people like leave a church like this? Oh, I can't remember the name for it.
No.
Um, I don't know. But anyway.
It
um,
does. It takes a long because I mean,
yeah. Oh,
it's
deconstructing,
yeah, yeah.
deconstructing. Yeah.
Well, because I mean, you're breaking down your entire existence and
Mhm.
coming to terms with the fact that, oh, that was bad, which that would suck. I can only imagine. Like, if you were super, super into something, like, how long have we been doing this podcast? Like, a long time.
Yeah, like
So,
7 years
yeah,
probably.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. And then if all of a sudden someone's just like, honestly, like, one of the worst things you can do is podcast with Sammy, I'd be like, shit. Like,
You're like, "Oh no, is it social suicide? Oh
yeah, I've
god."
been doing this the whole time. Yeah, but because that's the thing, is like you don't know it's bad when you're in it, and then you take a step back and you go, "Oh no." But then to break all of the habits that are associated with that, it's like it's so much. So yeah, I can
Yeah,
only
it's a
imagine.
lot to disentangle. So I'm just trying to have compassion and empathy for people who like are in that kind of culture because it's all intertwined and you can't yeah, you can't deconstruct it overnight.
Mhm,
But if I was to think like who could be like the free gingers in this group, I would
mhm.
really hope that it would be like Jen and Taylor, but who knows? You know?
Yeah,
Who knows? But and maybe Whitney.
yeah.
I feel like
Jen
Whitney's half
seems
in and half
like
out.
Jen probably voted for Trump because her husband told her to.
I think, and here's what I think about Jen 2 episodes in. Right now they're trying to make me hate her and I don't want to.
Mhm,
And I might regret that next time we record. But the whole thing has been so weird because I'm like, I have 2 eyeballs. And with those 2 eyeballs, I watched her husband make an ass of himself on television in season 1. And
yeah.
nobody made him say that. Nobody made him do that. Nobody made him act that way. He said really disgusting, misogynistic things to her on camera. And I don't care if he didn't technically, if it was like a different set of money that he used to gamble. I
But
like,
Sammy, I love him. Come on. No, wait.
but when she was like, when, so like, I think it was, I don't remember if it was episode 1 or 2. I have it written down somewhere, but when they were like, oh, well, was it his tuition money? And it was like, well, no, but it also kind of sounded like, I mean, well, he didn't have money for it, so they had to give him money. So he didn't use that money to gamble. He used that money for tuition. But right now, my hot take is, did he really drop out of medical school for virtuous reasons? In
Mm.
my opinion, this is just my opinion. This is only speculation. This is not based on fact. Don't come after me with your translucent eyelashes, like one of my favorite TikTokers said. He got mad at her because she said he had translucent eyelash.
God.
That sounds like someone who's been injured in an kind of a way. Anyway, so I think that whole thing is not motivated by altruism and trying to give your marriage a shot. To me, it sounds like if this was a completely hypothetical scenario and a completely hypothetical couple, to me, it sounds like something someone would do to control somebody else.
Yeah. Oh,
Or
that's what it
perhaps
felt
they
like to
weren't
me
doing
too.
well in school, and so it was, like, an easy
Yeah.
way to leave. I don't know.
No, I
Those are
mean,
just thoughts of
I was
mine right now.
it's hard to be a controlling piece of shit when you're hundreds of miles away from the woman you're trying to control. So, it's
I don't know. I mean, listen, I maybe he's gonna be the most amazing person, and she's gonna be the lyingest liar who ever lied by the end of the
I can
season.
assure you he's not an amazing person.
Listen, I have only watched 2 episodes, and right now they're teeing it up like Zach's redemption arc and Jen's a liar, and it doesn't smell right to me. I don't
Oh,
like it. So you're getting me not having watched all the episodes, coming in fresh going, "This is something's off here."
I'm
Why
sorry. There's no way
you're like,
Zach
I'll spoil this for you right
he
now,
does not
Sammy."
get a redemption arc. I mean, I'm not gonna spoil anything for you, but even, like, if you're trying to set that up, which they clearly are, right?
Mhm.
And then so, I mean, these are the first 2, like, major storylines we get. I mean,
Yeah.
Taylor's got her normal messy stuff with Dakota, but that's just like ongoing, right?
Oh gosh, I
But
feel
you've got
so bad
like,
for her.
hey, let's talk about the soft swinging scandal again because we bring in Miranda. But
Yeah.
and this is hilarious to me too because she just like pops up and now we got to drag the soft swinging back. It's like the first season is just so crazy that we all forgot about the soft swinging didn't play into anything after the first couple episodes of the first season. So it's hilarious that she's coming like groveling back into mom talk, dragging all this up. So you got that going on. And then you got the Zach thing. And I think
Yeah.
if you want to say like, okay, Jen's a liar and blah, 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 and Zach's going to get his redemption arc. And he's been trying, right? He's been popping up on my TikTok feed a
Oh,
little bit more
really?
than I would like. Yes.
Thank God I haven't seen him a once.
Yeah. He's trying to make dad talk happen or something. I don't know.
No.
It's horrible. It
What a
makes me want to die.
loser. Get out of
So
here. You're not the man we want to see, okay?
no,
I
we
think
don't want to see this
now
anymore.
Whitney, her whole relationship situation sounds fraught, but I do think her husband is also funny. So I'll
Mhm.
watch him anytime, but
Yeah.
I don't really care about anybody else.
So the thing that I think really illustrates who Zach is as a person is you watch the second episode where they're having the Halloween party
Mhm.
and they basically it's like a test slash just like set up to try and trigger Zach, right? Or I guess a more articulate way to put it would be they're trying to Nathan Fielder him with a major like drama point from the first season.
Yeah.
So what happens in the first season? Jen goes to Chippendales and she exists in the company of men, but
Mhm.
nothing bad happens. Of course, it's
Like,
fine.
she
Women can do
literally
whatever the hell they
doesn't
want.
do anything, and he
Literally,
spends
just
thousands
less
of
nothing.
dollars and yells at her. That's what
Yeah,
happens.
it's horrible,
Mhm.
horrible. And it's like hard to watch horrible because you're like, oh my God, he's so awful.
He
And
was,
you
like,
can see how it
threatening
affects her.
divorce because she was sitting in an audience. Like,
Mhm,
I can't forget that. Stop trying to make me forget that, show.
mhm. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we set up a fake Chippendales scenario with three of the husbands, right? And they dress up like Chippendales dancers. They do funny little dances. And Zach's sitting right there. And his reaction, while slightly more muted than season one, you could still tell he hates it. He
Now, that's on
hates it.
episode 3, so I haven't
Oh,
seen that yet. Because
I'm sorry. Okay, I
it's
thought it was
okay.
episode two. I'm sorry.
Episode 2 ends, they're at the party, and then there's, like, sirens, and I was like, "Oh, is that when the strippers come or Chippendale
Mhm.
dancers or whatever?" I'm assuming.
All right, I'm
Yeah.
spoiling things for you.
No,
The
that's
but
okay. But it
the
was like,
point
yeah, it
is
ends
like
with the wee woos, and I was like, "Okay, I see what's
this
gonna
is it
happen
it
here."
is so illustrative. Like even in this contrived stage scenario where specifically it's just like, hey, you're on camera. You gotta pretend to be normal and not care about this for 5 seconds. Here's your chance. And he blows it. He blows it. So what who is he? I know exactly who he is. I don't
Yeah.
care. Jed could lie about anything. She could be a liar. He's still a piece of shit.
Yeah,
Like
I
that's
mean,
all
I
there is.
think that's the thing. It's like, I don't even care. First of all, any of the things that they have said that she might be lying about or exaggerating about, I don't think
Mhm.
she is because it doesn't make her sound good. It doesn't, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
it
what's
doesn't
to what end would she
it
be
doesn't
lying about these
benefit
things?
her, it's humiliating. So why
Yeah.
would she just like when people say, "Why would Taylor be lying?" There's no benefit to Taylor lying. I just
Mhm.
nothing because
Yeah.
she lost everything.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
she was humiliated and her family is so fucking mean to her. Like
Yeah.
it's
Well,
like
and
there's no upside to her having told the truth about everything
yeah.
that happened in that whole situation.
Oh,
I'm
and
sorry, I don't believe anybody else saying anything different from what Taylor's saying, at least so
yeah.
far.
Yeah, because yeah, there's no benefit. Like Taylor has taken a the truth will set you free approach,
Yeah,
and it's I mean, there's no like why would you make up any of this stuff? It
right.
doesn't help her. I mean, I love it. I think it's great. If she made that up, I'm
Yeah.
fine. I'm glad you made that up if that's
Good
but
TV, good
for
TV.
her good TV, but for her personal benefit and like her mental and emotional well-being, none of that is good, which is hilarious when Miranda comes in and she's just like, "Well, I mean, I guess I was technically part of the soft swinging scandal, but like one time I kissed a boy, and the rest of the time we were just high fiving, and that's
Yeah, she's
it.
like, "It was just,
Yeah,
like, spin the bottle." I'm like,
yeah.
"I
And then
don't believe you."
Taylor's like looking at her, and Taylor's like, "Well, she straight up ate ass." Like, I don't even think she says that, but like she starts just like listing off hyper specific, things that they've done. She's like, "We all showered together. We banged our husbands
I
in the
think,
same
again, that
bed."
might be
Yeah.
episode 3,
Oh
but
my god. I'm sorry, but
is
like
it later at the Halloween party that they talk about it?
no, they have like
Oh.
another sit down because there's an
Oh,
initial
okay.
sit down with Miranda
Right.
too, where
And
she's trying to do
that
this.
was episode 2, and it was kind of like a nothing burger. It was just kind of like, "Okay, well,
Mhm.
I'm sorry, okay, it's fine."
Yeah.
And then Jesse was like, as the resident pot stirrer, this is not enough pot stirring for my liking. I would like this to be stirred more, please."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Okay."
I'm
But
pretty sure
yeah.
I'm 98% sure that Jessie is a Trumper, but also she's
Oh,
fun, so,
yeah, she's funny. Again, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I hope some of these women see the light, and at least there's a couple of,
yeah.
real nice ones in the bunch. But anyway, real quick, let's just go back to the first episode. Let's kind of go through some of this
Mhm.
stuff point by point. Not in super detail. We don't have like a big agenda for this. I just wanted to chat about it because I find Mormon culture endlessly interesting. I've always found this kind of culture, like Christian fundamentalism, so interesting. Like, I've talked about this on other podcasts, but like I grew up in like a very progressive Lutheran church, and I had no idea that like this kind of world existed until like I dated a guy in high school that went to a church that's like Christian was like a Christian fundamentalist church where people
Yeah.
would say like that's the first time I heard the word secular, and I like had no idea what that meant.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like, watching this show, I mean, the way that they're weird is so unique,
Yes.
but it's also such like a massive thing. I mean, it's like, "Hey, what if a cult was a whole ass state?" Like that
Right.
that's crazy, right?
Yeah, almost
So,
2 states. Yeah.
yeah, and they are so you're watching this, and it's like they're weird, but they're weird in ways that you never previously considered people could be weird, and that's why I like
Yes.
it.
Yeah,
We
that's
found new layers to the weird,
like the
which is good.
rules. Yeah, I mean, it's like, listen, every religion has its rules, right?
Mhm.
But like, it's like, I don't know. You look at like an Abrahamic religion or whatever, a lot of the times people who follow it like aren't in Christian fundamentalism they're also looking for loopholes, but it's like it's weird to me. It's like, okay, if this religion lays down rules and you believe every word of the scripture that the rules lays out, and then you're constantly trying to find ways around it, it's like
Yeah.
maybe it's time to find something different to follow, or do something different with your time. I don't know, it's just odd. So it's like, I
With them, it's never the letter of the law, or it's always the letter of the law, but not the spirit of it, right?
right, that's what
Yeah.
I'm saying. It's
They're
like,
they're all like that's why they're all Republicans, because 'cause they're like constitutional absolutionists, like, that's
right,
their
yeah, it's just odd because it's like, yeah, it's like, I know a lot of there's a lot of people in my life who follow different religions, and it's like,
Mhm.
but the yeah, like you said, the spirit is different. It's like their philosophy is always kind of like, I'm doing this because I'm striving to become a better person, and I believe that if I follow these things, that I'm it's going to be better for me, and it's going to be better for the people around me, it's going to be better for my family, and like I'm doing it in a loving devotional kind of way, and also it's not
Mhm.
hurting anybody else, so like what do I care? I don't care.
No.
And I'm like, oh, that's great. But this is this is just like, yeah, it's weird, it's different. Like one of the things that crumble cookie video brings up is like this whole like making an exception for like sodas and things like that, partially because of Mitt Romney, because like he was into soda, and so they had to like make it okay.
This
Like,
always happens too. I
I'm
mean,
like,
this is
that's wild. Like,
but religions love this shit, right? Like, even, shout out to all my Midwestern Catholic homies, right? Like,
right.
why during Lent can you eat fish on Friday? And
Well, it's not that you can eat fish on Friday, it's that you can't eat red meat on
you can't eat
Friday.
red
That's
meat. You
why
can't eat
you
red
do
but
eat
but it
fish.
used but here's the thing. It used like, it was supposed to be like, just don't eat meat. But then they're
Right.
like, "Well, we got a fuck ton of fish. Like, let's give them a
So
little
we're gonna
fish
eat
here. Yeah, just give
fish.
me a little
Yeah.
fish. Get a little treat." But this is what they do. Like, every rule is arbitrary, and then someone at the Vatican can be like, we're gonna kind of change this one up a little bit," and then it
Yeah.
changes the whole thing. And then all of a sudden, it's like whatever like dogmatic thing you've been following in lockstep. It's like, well, now we got a little loophole. Like it's
Yeah, I mean, that's why soaking exists. But
Mhm.
anyway, so
And that armpit thing. I don't even
oh
know how that
god.
works.
Yeah, I forgot what that's called. But
Yeah.
anyway,
It's
yeah, like
called no fun. I
yeah, and
probably.
like that thing where like other people jump on the bed
Yeah.
while you're
Yeah.
yeah, while you're stationary. Um
Quick cut to Steve's computer screen when he Googles what's the Mormon armpit thing called?
what's the phrase for that? Yeah, I mean, it's just wild. So it's like, yeah, I grew up in a church that was like, listen, these were rules written by people a lot. What's it
It's
called?
called bagpiping. Stop!
Oh my god.
Bagpiping.
Oh, I almost teared up.
Oh my god.
Anyway, so yeah, and it's like, oh my god. Like I just worked our city's pride. I'm on the board for our city's pride, and people are always like, well, not people, there's like those
Mhm.
alarmists who are like, it's so perverse, and it was like just people vibing and
Yeah,
listening
hanging
to a
out.
band and eating food and making crafts. And in the Mormon, youth culture, bagpiping exists. Okay.
Yeah.
So what do you
I
got
can't
to
I
say about
cannot with
that?
the bagpiping. Like, I'm just like I'm thinking of like DuckTales, Scrooge McDuck just going wild on a dick. Like, that's crazy.
um so anyway, yeah, no, it's like it's just been weird to me because it's like, yeah, I grew up in a church that was like, this stuff was written by people thousands of years ago. Do you really think we need to follow it to the letter? Like, these were people who, had a set of like social norms and laws and whatever, and it is totally reasonable to adapt that to today's culture and what's
Mhm.
acceptable in our society, and really think of these more as like lessons and not hard and fast rules. Of course, like, you know, certain things you should, like the commandments, like they're pretty
Yeah.
good by and large. They're pretty good. So it's just odd to me. Yeah, it's like we're gonna follow these really strict rules, and like women have to document their lives, and so that's why that we have all these Mormon mommy bloggers, which I've talked about before, and YouTubers, and this reality show is really part of these women abiding by that rule that they should be documenting their family's life. They're doing it. They're doing it
Yep.
on reality TV. You don't like it? Okay. Um, but then, yeah, like the whole, like, if you do all these things and follow all these rules, then you'll get your own planet.
Which is pretty sick. Like,
Yeah, I mean, maybe I'd do it
oh,
for my
Christians get
own
to go to
planet.
heaven, but if you're like, you can have the Steve planet, that's
Yeah,
awesome.
like, own planet, pretty cool.
Yeah.
But
I mean, assuming like it's a good one, it's like you ever play that
yeah.
game No Man's Sky and like sometimes you just land, you're like, this planet kind of sucks.
Dude, I still need to play that game because, like, for a
Mm.
while, people were talking about that it wasn't good and it was really buggy, and then people were like, "No, it's actually good now," and I still haven't played it. Same with Red Dead Redemption 2, which was on sale the other day for like $15, and I was like, "If I get all these things done, I will reward myself and buy it." And then I did not get those things done, so I could not buy it.
Good for you. Good
So
self-control.
thank you.
I would
I
have bought it anyways.
also just got like, well, I only spent $7. Okay, I was gonna go to episode 1, but real quick. Okay, you ever have a credit card with a bunch of rewards points on it and you just let them build up and you don't even look into what you could use them on until one
Yeah.
day you spend $1,700 worth of points on technology? Or is that just me?
I do have the problem where like my points build up and I'm like, oh, I can have free things. I probably should have
Yeah.
been using these. Mhm.
Yeah, I had so I'm like moving off of one of my cards, and I
Mhm.
thought I could really only redeem it on travel, and turns out no.
No.
There's all kinds of things you can buy, including like one of those like lawn mowing robots. But I
Whoa.
didn't buy one of those. Instead, I got this like podcasting kit. What's the brand? DJI or something like that.
Mhm.
Like, they make, like,
Yeah, they
microphones and
make
stuff
the
too.
gimbals for cell phones and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, and they make, like, those lavalier mics and stuff. So
Mhm.
they have, like, a 4K camera that, like, it's, like, pocket travel size, and you can, like, snap it real quick, portrait, landscape. It
Mm.
comes with a mic, and I'm trying to remember what else, but you can stream with it too. So I was like, "Ooh, I can
Oh,
take it on the
portable
road." This is
streaming
like
setup? Yeah, there you
yes, I was like
go.
and it's like $1,000. Okay, so I got that, and then I got another monitor, so that's coming, and then I got a projector, like, for the basement, and
Whoa,
it was like $1,700 worth of stuff, and I
that's
got it for
great.
$7.70, and I'm
I
so
love that
excited
for
about
you.
it. Anyway,
That's good. Now you can project Secret Lives of Mormon Wives.
yes, in my cardio
Gigantic.
cinema. I can't wait. While I'm on the treadmill, I can watch it. So, yeah, this is, like, the highlight of my week so far is having ordered all that stuff, but, yeah, so, hey, first of all, pay attention to the points that are amassing on your credit card, but if you're not, then you get to treat yourself big.
You do get a treat, yeah,
Yeah,
a
you
big
get
treat.
like, I literally hadn't spent points probably for 5 years, and I
Mhm.
got so much stuff. Okay, anyway, so we're in episode 1, and I thought they said so they're at this, like, influencer event, like, at a pumpkin patch, and I thought they said cowboy pills, and I was
Yeah.
like, "What's cowboy pills?" But it's actually cowboy pillows, and I looked it
Mhm.
up, and it looks like it's, like, a clothing brand
Yeah,
that's
yeah, yeah.
about, like,
No, I looked
boobs,
it up
right?
too because I was like, "What is this?" And then I'm
Is that
like,
what it
I think
is?
this is just, like, clothing for women who think Morgan Wallen did nothing wrong. Like, that's
Yeah,
the
yeah, and
vibe.
it's just like the pictures of girls being like, with like it just says like cowboy pillows across their boobs.
Yeah.
Which I just think it's so funny that, Mom Talks like, listen, we're getting a lot of eye rolls from the Mormon community. So the first thing that we did with this episode is, and they're like, we're going against the patriarchy. And I'm like, that's cool.
With
Listen,
cowboy pillows?
you can go to yeah, sure, that's fine.
I'm suing them for trademark infringement because, my clothing brand is actually called Hee Haw Hooters,
Oh,
and
no.
yeah,
Cheater
this
brand.
seems
It's a cheater brand. Yeah. Yeah, they even have one that says, "In cowboy pillows we trust." Um,
great.
Pretty wild, pretty wild. Makes me feel like I can make money doing lots of stuff when I
Literally
see stuff
anything.
like this.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's so funny. They like open where they're just like, "We're fighting the patriarchy," except in the voting booth.
Also, the intro for season 2, my god, like, they're like, "What if we crank the horny levels up to 11?" They're just, like,
Yeah.
emerging from, like, a steamy lake, and they're just like, "Shh."
Yeah, it was good. I did take note of who came out, like, wet and who didn't. I was
Mm.
like, "Noted, noted." And you were right about the Morgan Wallen thing because some of these tank tops just say Wallen pillows instead of cowboy pillows. I'm not even
See, that's the problem with this it's
lying.
beyond parody at this point.
Yeah. It's just like and that's the thing. Ugh, I mean, that's the thing that just makes it not it can unless you completely reject it all, you can't be fully redeemable
No.
because you're doing shit like that.
Also, I like
Um
how, Morgan Wallen gets called out because he said the N-word, like, 100 times really loud,
mhm.
and then, when people were like, "Hey, you shouldn't do that," his response was to make a double album about how he's not really sorry.
Yeah, I
Who
what
does
an
that?
absolute trash bag. But anyway, so this was the first event that they did. Um and yeah, I wrote, yeah, fuck the patriarchy, but we're mega though.
Mhm.
And the biggest news right now is that Whitney has left Mom Talk. She's doing her own thing.
She's doing her own thing. Well, how do you
Yeah.
even like, okay, so you're not with that specific group of moms, but, like, Mom Talk it's bigger than just them. Like, you
Now, yeah.
yeah, it's what you're not an LLC, like, you're not an
Also, like,
organization.
I don't think anybody is like, "Oh, now Whitney's in Mom Talk. Now she's out, and now she's back in again, and now she's out." Like, nobody else is paying attention,
Oh
which
my
is
god.
why I brought up Queen Bees and Wannabes, and to the fact they go to they go to a Halloween party, and half of them are dressed up as Mean Girls characters. I mean, this is what I'm saying.
Except for
It is
Miranda, who's
literal.
inexplicably a lobster.
This is not me going in and going, "Oh, in like Nathaniel Hawthorne really meant
Mhm.
this."
Yeah.
It's like it's just a literal reading of the text, okay?
Quite
I'm not
quite on the nose there,
there's
yeah.
no symbolism here. Um, yeah, Miranda the co-swinger is back, and she's like, "It was nothing beyond spin the bottle, and honestly, I would respect you more if you were just honest. Just be honest."
Yeah.
But again, there is a lot of pressure in Mormon culture, and
Mhm.
they're like they probably rehearsed this, like, "Well, if we're this level of honest, then we don't have to get more honest than this, and
Absolutely.
it'll look like we're owning up to something." Like, oh gosh, now I'm trying to remember. Oh, somebody said, I think this was on TikTok. Somebody said, like, that Dakota said I think it was Dakota who said something like, now I'm like mixing it all up because I was like, I picked strawberries this morning and then I was like hulling them as I was watching this. And then I watched some TikToks about it. So anyway, it all blended together. Blame the
Mhm.
strawberries and the grass allergy that I do have. So, but anyway, I think it was Dakota who said something like you're like you always catch everything that I do or something like you're so good because you're just like on to everything. Unless I was watching somebody else. Anyway, some loser man said that. And someone in the comments said, they say that kind of thing to throw you off because there's something else they're hiding and they want you to think they've caught everything. And I was like, 100% same thing happened to me.
Mm.
I 100% agree with that. So that's why I think, it's like, yeah, well, if I act like I'm telling the truth and I reveal this one thing, and I'm like, "And here it is. Yeah, you caught me. You knew that I was lying, and here's the truth."
Yeah.
Their whole I think their strategy is like, "And don't ask me, like, what's beyond that truth,"
Mhm.
right? Like, is another actual bigger truth or whatever. So that's what I think. And Dakota was like so basically the other story, yeah, is like Dakota was a cheater, pumpkin eater. They talk about in this pumpkin patch. But also like I mean, I get why it's a big deal because they're Mormon. Because
Mhm.
I don't like obviously I don't like cheaters. However, I think in the early stages of dating when things are kind of like not defined,
Mhm.
I
Don't do
have a
that
little
shit.
bit more leeway and grace for that, but at the
Yeah.
same time, like, he was doing things with Taylor that put the respect of her family in jeopardy, and to the
Mhm.
point that when she comes out and airs that out later, when Dakota comes over and is with her family, Taylor's dad looks at her and is basically like, "You're such a whore." I'm like, "What the fuck?" Like, it was
Yeah.
so gross. It was so gross.
Well, yeah, especially the way he did it. Like, I get it if you're
Yeah.
in a stage of dating and you're dating multiple people and blah blah blah, blah. Like that's fine. But the way that it's presented here is just like
Gross.
this
Yeah.
girl was his like daytime good girl, and then
And
nighttime
he'd call
Taylor.
Taylor at night.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, "That's so gross." And when Taylor said, "That makes me feel like a piece of trash," I, like, 100% understood how she
Mhm.
felt, and she should feel that way, and he was doing that, and so it's like, I think if it was a different scenario and he wasn't who he is, maybe it's like, "You know what? Maybe you can forgive that," but, like, that's not the only way he's toxic.
Yeah.
So,
Also,
like, that was just, like, the icing on
extremely
top.
awesome to just have a whole segment of the show where it's just like, okay, here's Taylor, here's the girl Dakota was cheating on her with,
Yeah.
and then just let's go through the text message notes. And you're like,
Yeah.
oh. And then they're just comparing side by side. She's like, oh, I don't have any of this. And she's like, I got all this here. Let me scroll through for you.
Yeah, that was I mean, I don't
Just
remember, was
dramatically
that
just reading it. It's great.
yeah, was that episode 1 or 2? I don't remember,
It's the
but
first one.
okay, yeah, and yeah, it was so sweet when she was like, "I'm sorry," and like, "I'm sorry too," and like, it wasn't either they realized it's not either of our faults.
Oh,
We are not the enemy, he is, and I was like, "Yeah, get him, girls."
get them.
So that was cool, that sisterhood, I loved that so much more than Mom Talk. Um, then we find out that Jen was almost free of Zach, and I was like, damn it, Jen. Cause she's like, we're
This
separated.
close.
And I was like, yes. And then he's like, hi. And I'm like, why the get out of here. Get
Mhm.
out of here. I don't want to see you. And like it was weird because it was like, so what happened in New York? Cause didn't he get into school there? But then
Yeah.
they went to Arizona?
But then,
That's
then they
fishy
went to
as well.
Arizona instead because yeah, he was like they were in New York last season, and he was like, "Oh, I'm
Right,
going
they,
to
like, took
NYU
videos there
Medical."
and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, it's a whole thing. It's a whole thing, and then they're like, "Yeah, we're moving to New York for mom," and then all of a sudden he's like at Arizona State or something.
Yeah, what happened? Like, was that kind of that also seemed kind of weird,
Yeah, and
right?
brushed over it. Like, I'm sure if you, like, follow the extended lore of Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, you'll get to the why, but they definitely kinda swept that under the rug. Like, they did not wanna talk about it.
That's why I'm saying, like, there's some things like that that just it's like, it makes me question whether I don't know. Like, it just like, I knew somebody who, she was, like, the kind of person that, like, if something bad happened, people just thought that she did it, you know what I mean?
Mhm. Yeah.
That kind of reputation. But she, like, talked about, like, getting into, like, Stanford or something like that, but, like, deciding not to go, and it just always sounded fake. I don't know. It was just, like and her integrity wasn't that good to begin with, so it was just kind of, like and she would just, like, use it as an aside, and I'm like, "What is so
Yeah,
strange." That's
I
kind
got
of
into Stanford. They said yes to me, but I said no to
but
them.
I said no to them. I'm like, "Why would you say no?"
Yeah,
Like,
why would
outside
you
of,
say
like,
no? It's so weird.
finances maybe, but, like, I don't know. I would probably be like, "Yeah, fuck yeah, I'm going to Stanford. That's
Yeah, you
cool.
figure it out. You
I'll
figure it
figure it
out.
out. Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
be broke forever, but I can say I went to Stanford." No, it was just, like it was just odd, and, like, that's kind of, like, the vibes that I get from this, where
Mhm.
it's like, yeah, we went to New York for like, medical school is a big deal. Like,
Yeah.
if you're getting in somewhere and you're going to school somewhere, like, that's a big deal. So just
Mhm.
switch state unless it was like, well, we signed it and I was on a wait list and for some reason the school in Arizona was the one that I really wanted or something like that,
Yeah,
which
yeah.
it could be like, I mean, that happens. You get waitlisted and you change your mind, but
Mhm.
they didn't really like approach it that way. So that was the thing that was kind of confusing to me. So
Mhm.
I will look into it more. Don't you worry. I'm going to be all over this because there's just something that sounds so confusing to me.
Mhm.
Oh yeah, and he was part of Arizona. What is even Arizona College of Osteopathic Medicine?
Arizona College? I don't know what that is.
Arizona College.
It's not Arizona, it's not Arizona State, it's not Northern Arizona. Those
No,
are the
it's
3
literally
Arizona schools I know.
it's part of Midwestern University in Arizona. I've
Sounds
never
made
heard of
up.
that. Like, cause like, I know there like
Midwestern University of Arizona. That's the most fake ass college I've ever heard.
yeah, cause like, Arizona State, I think they have, like, they have, like, a fellowship that I know, like, some nurse practitioners I know have gone to and stuff like that, so, like, whatever. Yeah, I've never heard of this school.
No. This is like University of Phoenix. Yeah, NYU let me in, but,
I mean, maybe it's really good and we don't know anything, you know, who says?
mm,
We don't know we don't know nothing. Someone said it's a reputable school that has good opportunities for a DO school. I mean, I think it's cool that he was going to be a DO. I think DOs are kind of interesting, but anyway, whatever. Um, oh, I guess it's pretty expensive. So that's when someone said that
yeah.
the tuition is
It's too bad
really
he gambled away
expensive.
his tuition money, allegedly.
Lots of tests, good rotations and resources. Well, okay. Well, this Reddit says it's good, but who knows? I'll look into that too. I'm gonna look into all of it. Nothing will slip by me.
My name's Sammy, and I'm looking into it.
I'm gonna Google it more later, but I don't know. It was just kind of weird. Yeah, I was like, I wrote down in my notes. So he dropped out of medical school. Do we think it's just because he's committed to her or something else? Because it just
Mhm.
seemed weird. And then he's like, they're not going to church. To me, this is what it sounds like. If I was, if I was a manipulative husband,
Mhm. Which
not
you are.
saying Zach is, but if I was one, um, I would start banking all the sacrifices I made And
Mm.
then when
Mm.
things go bad, I can say, listen, I dropped out of medical school for you. I moved back to Utah for you. I did this and that for you to make this work. I went to ketamine therapy for you. And nothing I do is ever good enough. And all
Mm.
you do is tell people that I gambled away my tuition
Mhm.
and that I'm a misogynist and a narcissist, and
Yeah.
look at how much I've given to you. I can't give enough.
That would be classic Zach, because one thing that really gets driven home in this season, especially in the first couple episodes, is we know that he's a misogynist and a narcissist and a piece of shit and all this. However,
Allegedly.
allegedly, I
I'm just
love
trying not to get in trouble here, okay?
he is so like focused on optics this season, because I think like he doesn't actually know that he's a horrible person, but he watched season one and was just like, "Uh-oh, I'm coming off really bad." So he's like,
Yes.
"I'm gonna be cool and accepting. Oh yeah, do you want to like be within 5 feet of another man? That's cool with me. I don't have jealousy issues."
Yeah, he's like, "I need to tweak."
He's like clearly obsessed with optics. He does this like fake apology tour thing with the girls, or like talks to them or whatever. But the whole time he's bad at optics. Like he's saying this, and then the next scene is like him doing something dumb and misogynist. You're like, you can't you can't even take 5 minutes to not be a pile of shit, dude. Like, come on.
Yeah, I that's what I'm saying. Like, even the things where he was like, okay, so within the first couple episodes, he says stuff like, "Oh, can you not talk about how I'm related to Ben Affleck because that's actually not real?" And she's like, "But your family says it."
Mhm.
And he's like, "Well, it's a joke." She's like, "They didn't say it to me as a joke." And he's like, "Well," and she's like, "Your grandfather said that you met him when you were young or whatever at
Oh
an
my god.
event or something,"
Which is
which
that whole
I
thing
don't
is
know.
just like so bizarre, right? It's like,
I
and
bet
again,
they do say that.
it has to be because like I don't know, like somebody ancestry.com'd him or something, and then he's like, "Oh, we gotta get ahead of this one. Optics."
I think his family says that.
Mhm.
And I think they're serious, and I don't think they joke. But again, optics, he's like, "It looks bad."
Yeah.
And then he's like, "Well, don't say that I gambled away the tuition because that's bad." And it's like, to me, it sounded like that they got off on a technicality with that
Yeah.
one. So it's like, yeah, I mean, you can fully see it's like I I was friends with someone like this. I didn't know that that's what this person was doing, but then
Mhm.
it was like I I asked all I did was ask a question, okay? There was something that they were supposed to give to me, and they lied about it. They just kept, like,
Mm.
obfuscating, and I probably told you the story, I'm being vague on the podcast, but I was like, "Where's this thing that you said that you were going to do?" And instead of just being honest and being like, "I lost it," or
Yeah.
like, This thing is you are not gonna get this thing that I promised to you, and I'm sorry," which would have been fine. Like, it
Mhm.
wasn't an issue. I just wanted this person to be honest with me. They just decided to come back and say, "Well, when I donated to you, you never gave me baked goods." Like, and they listed every grievance they ever had with me, but it was a lot of stuff like
Mhm.
that, like, "Well, I've done this for you, and I've done this for you, and I've done this for you, and I've
And
done this
as
for
you know,
you."
Sammy, we're going by the point system, and
Yeah,
right
and I
now
was
you're
like
running a deficit, so it's perfectly fine that I didn't give you the thing I said I was gonna give you. Like,
I
what are
was
the
like, "Jesus, what?" And I'm like, "Who keeps score in a friendship?" That's so odd. It's like,
Mhm.
I do, it's like I'll loosely try to keep score like, "Oh, my friend paid for a movie when we went. So I will remember in my brain to pay for dinner next time or whatever."
Mhm.
It's like, but if I forget, I know that my friends, my real friends aren't going to be like, I paid for the movie last time and you didn't offer to pay for dinner." Like, what the fuck? No, like, that's so weird. Or like, if you had an issue with it, to say, "Hey, you know what? I paid for a lot of stuff lately when we hang out." And I'd be like, "Oh my God, I totally forgot. And I'm so sorry. And like, I'll make it right."
Mhm.
Like I've done that before too, where like a friend felt slighted because they did something nice for me and they felt like, unappreciated. And I was like, "I don't ever want you to feel that way. I'm so sorry that you felt that way. Here's, a thing to show my appreciation." And they're like, "Hey, thanks." No, that's
Mhm.
like a normal friendship thing. But this guy was like, this is everything that I've been waiting for years to tell you all this shit that I didn't like that you did." And I'm like, "Ah, okay. I guess we're not friends. I thought we were." So egg on my face. So that's the vibe that I get from Zach Ray's like he's just waiting to spring. Like I'm gonna put
Mhm.
all this stuff in the bank in my mind. And when you do one wrong thing, oh boy, you're gonna hear about it. You're gonna hear about it. And in the meantime, don't say anything even a little bit bad about me. Like it also felt kind of like triangulation, right? Even
Mhm.
though like Jesse and wait, who was he talking to? Demi and Jesse, was
Yep,
it?
yep.
Right? And they were kind of like they were being critical, but they were not like in a super bad way. They were just kind of like, sometimes I wonder if what she says is true, which like if you're getting a different story from him and her and he is an expert gaslighter and you know what I mean? Like
Mhm.
and maybe she exaggerates a little, whatever, like I'll give that. Yeah, like I think that that's a really valid criticism, but they didn't say like, oh, like such bad things about her. It was just like, well, they're questioning some things, and he takes that back to her and goes, yeah, they said some really bad things about you and I did not like that at all. So like I can be the hero and they can be the villains. And I noticed that, like, I tracked that immediately, and then he was like, "And I wouldn't do that to my friends, like, I wouldn't go to my friends and, like, listen, you do things that I don't like all the time, but I'm not gonna go to my friends and tell them that you do that because I don't want them to get that impression of you."
Mhm.
I'm like, "Come on. You don't say anything?
Never.
You said all that bad stuff on reality television in front of, you know, millions of viewers, but you would never say it to your friends in a closed room without a camera. Come on.
Never.
You really think I'm that naive?
Not this
Please."
beautiful special boy. He
Yeah,
would
he's
never.
so full of shit. Anyway, that'll be my hot take from now on that I don't buy the redemption arc and just mark it now. I literally haven't watched past the first 2 episodes and that's how I feel and
Mhm.
they're not going to get me. They're not going to ensnare me. Okay. Yeah. Basically, Taylor doesn't deserve the shit that Dakota did, but nobody's surprised that he's trash because
Of course.
he's pretty obviously trash.
Yeah.
Um, Whitney and Miranda hang out in the first episode, which is like it's like, oh, the two pariahs, I
Oh
guess.
my
I don't know. It's
gosh.
just kind of odd. Um,
Miranda, God bless her. I like when someone is just like, "Hey, I am just here transparently chasing clout. Please, God, let me on the TV show.
yeah, I mean, good
I'm
for
hot
you.
and did naughty stuff, and I can be mean if
But
I
I'm gonna
want to
lie
be."
about it. Just be
Yeah,
honest. You'll get more airtime if you're honest. Come on,
yeah,
Miranda. Anyway, um, and then yeah. So the only other note I have for the first episode is yeah, this ketamine therapy thing. I talk about another loophole. Like
yeah,
you're like, heaven forbid we do coffee, but ketamine is
yeah.
fine.
Horse tranks, sign me up.
I'm like, what?
That's dope. I love that.
Listen, yeah. I mean, if people want to do that, microdose, whatever, that
Hey,
is like
Joseph Smith
totally.
didn't even know about ketamine. He
There's
wasn't into club drugs.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. How else did he come up with those golden tablets? He probably licked a couple toads.
Yeah,
Let's
at
be
least at
honest.
least a few, at least.
um, oh my gosh, it's just so weird. Like, and again, like I don't care, but it's just such a strange line you're drawing. And they're like,
Mhm,
well, they don't say anything about that. So so we can do it. It's like they don't say anything about anything like the internet,
mhm,
you know, but you gotta extrapolate rules about the internet, right? I don't know.
mhm,
Um, so strange. And then I didn't really pay attention to the last party very much, because it wasn't that interesting. But then we get to episode 2, and yeah, this is when we first have Taylor and Miranda talk, and yeah, like at this point, the controversy is really minimal. It's just kind of like yeah, anyway, well, it's good to see you and it's fine and things are awkward, but we'll move past it. And I guess your story is different from mine. So that's where we're going to leave it for now. Like it was just kind of an odd conversation in general. It's just kind
mhm.
of like, Yeah, I guess we need more soda to have this conversation or whatever.
Help take the edge off.
Couple of dirty sodas and the truth is gonna come out.
That's it.
But yeah, this was weird. So, and then there's like a boot store scene, which was fine. They're like, we're gonna get boots for a party, and we're so excited. Look at these glammy boots. Is that where Zach talked to them in the boot store, or was it separate? I didn't take good notes here. I
I
was
think he
busy hulling strawberries.
I think he talked to them in the boot store, which
Okay.
is sure.
Yeah, they're like, "This is a place where we can film. We can take this over for a little bit and buy a couple boots, and they'll let
Mhm.
us film." But yeah, like, it was just so weird because, like, yeah, wait, is it Demi? Not Demi, right? Sorry,
Yeah.
Demi.
To me.
Demi and Jussie. So they're like, "Yeah, we're gonna come at Zach. We're really gonna, give it to him." And then
Yeah.
he was like, "Actually, I'm going to Jedi mind trick you into thinking that Jen is absolutely the problem." They're like, "Maybe Jen is the problem." So this was when this happened. And then we get to the scene with Taylor's family after that, and yeah, her parents are so terrible to her. It's awful. It's awful. It's
Mhm.
just absolutely awful. I totally get why Taylor is the way she is because, I mean, we don't have the luxury of seeing everybody's, like, parents on the show, but
Oh, boy.
boy, like,
Yeah.
they're just really awful to her, and I just
It's
always
not
wanna give
good.
Taylor a hug. It's just like, God.
It's kinda hard to watch. You're just like, oh. And then, yeah, they're just like, why can't we just be a big happy family? It looks like he's here just trying to be a good dad." It's like, I don't think that's what he's doing.
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Doesn't
I
look
think
like
he
it to
wants
me.
to be on TV.
Yeah.
Um Yeah, that's the other thing. Yeah, it was just so weird. And then, like, to have her
Mhm.
dad be like, "Well, what does that like?" She's like, "He would only call me at night." And then her dad was like, "Well, what does that say about you, Taylor?" I'm like, "It says that she was manipulated by a terrible man. What do you
Yeah.
mean?"
You only call
And
me at night.
she's
"Ah, but you answered the phone, little
it's
missy."
like she went through, like, this weird scandal. She, like, obviously got, like, married and had kids way too young,
Mhm.
right? And then was trying to found herself in a bigger problem, became, like, a social outcast, and then was just looking for somebody who said that they, like, approved of her and wanted to spend time with her, and Dakota gave her the validation and probably the love bombing that she was looking for, and so she just took what she could get.
Mhm.
And so I would say Taylor's dad, what does that say about you as a parent that she
Yeah.
feels like she has to seek validation in that way? Did you not teach her her own self-worth?
No, probably
This
not.
sounds like a parenting failure to me. Anyway, yeah, her family sucks. Was that her sister who just, like, laid down the law in that dinner where she was like,
Yeah.
"Everything needs to be separate, okay? I can't deal with this." I was like, I think that was her sister. I was like the only voice of reason at the table,
Oh, yeah.
being like, "No, this is not you should try to work it out. Why would you try to work this out? This is terrible." Like, you both you need to go to therapy, you need to figure your shit out, and you need to be separate and go to your own corners. I was like, "Yeah." Um Oh, yeah, this was where yeah, when then Zach talks to Jen, he's triangulating. Then we get to the Halloween party, and Jesse is like, "So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna have, Chase here and that's, like, Miranda's ex that was probably more interested in Taylor than Taylor was interested in him," is what it sounds like. He denies that. I call bullshit. Um, and then they bring in, like, a Chippendales host to teach the men to dance like the Chippendales dancers, which I think is,
Mm.
like, a fun and funny idea. And she's obviously doing that to see if she can get Zach to crack. So good for her. I think it's funny. Jessie is good at creating good TV. Like, and she's
Oh, yeah.
fully owning it. She's just like, I stirred the pot. That's what I do. So sorry, you can't get mad at me because that's what I do. You want extensions or not? Okay, you want my extensions, you gotta let me do mean shit to you. Um, and so, yeah, at the end of the second episode, they just, yeah, like Jen and Zach are sitting down and they're like trying to navigate this truth that I feel like this is what it feels like. It feels kind of like LVP coaching people off camera and then them coming on camera with a story that sounds consistent.
Mhm.
That's what it feels. It feels exactly like that. Oh, how weird that this magazine showed up in my suitcase.
I
Very much like that. Oh, but
mean,
now it's a conversation point. Now it's here, so we have to talk about it.
she's so good at it though, like, name
Yeah, but
a
like it
better
is
reality
true.
TV puppet
Like,
master. Yeah, she gets
yeah.
it.
Yeah, she totally did. Like, she would definitely have like conference calls with people and be like, this is how we're gonna tell it.
Mhm.
This is what it felt like to me. And it was like it sounded like Zach being like, well, if you want this to work or whatever,
Mhm.
um, but we're gonna make it look like it's your idea. I don't know. Like the whole thing is just strange.
Yeah.
Um, but again, when you're in this kind of a culture and like divorce is hard to do, um, it's like it's interesting because all of these women are more financially successful than their husbands.
Mhm.
All of them or their boyfriends or whatever.
Yeah.
And so they
Men
are
who
in a
are already extremely insecure
right.
too.
And it's like they're in this position, and that's what I would say, like, I mean, outside of, like, the cheating, whatever, I would say Connor seems like kind of the most comfortable with Whitney just, like, doing her thing and
Well,
making
because
her
he wants to do
money.
his thing on Tinder,
Well,
allegedly,
yeah,
but
whatever he wants to do.
whatever he wants to do. Go kiss the boy, it's
I
fine.
I don't know. Um, but, you know, like anyway, it's interesting because there's been a lot of like trad wife discourse on
Mhm.
TikTok and other places, and because we're, hurtling towards or already in fascism, there is a rise in trad wife culture narrative discussion
Mhm.
and
Oh, you and I
like
talked
when
about
you
this extensively. I sent Sammy a
I was
text, it's
just
just
gonna
like,
say I was
"There's
just gonna
this
bring this up.
girl that I did, like, a school thing with, and she was, like, cool, and she married, like, a union organizer, socialist, and good politics," and I'm like, then they got divorced, and now she's, like, really into right-wing reactionary stuff and being a trad wife, and I was like, "What's up with that?" And then immediately not even a text back, it's just like, "Here's a 10-minute long voice memo," and you're like, without taking a breath, "Okay."
Here are all the
It just
pipelines.
laid it out.
I missed a couple, but I
It's
was
pretty good.
like
It's impressive.
I was like oil pulling, seed oils,
Mhm.
beef tallow,
It was
Lululemon, Landmark Forum,
Yeah, no, you totally nailed it. It was also, like, the most
raw
Sammy-ass
milk.
thing that's
Yeah.
ever happened.
I was like, these are all the pipelines that you have to look out for.
Yeah.
So yeah, like trad wife stuff. Like, it's like as soon as like the cottage core stuff became more popular, I was like, be careful. You might fall into a pipeline
Mhm.
if you trip. So now it's like, yeah, it's like this whole like the milkmaid stuff and whatever, and just like, in like 1950s fashion and all that stuff. Um, can get into territory where it's like and now there's like women who are like it's empowering, it's like the
Mhm.
ultimate girl boss move to marry someone who makes it so that you don't have to work because like
Yeah.
you're actually controlling him, so checkmate. And I'm like
Boom.
you know
Reverse psychology. Got
yeah,
him.
and it's like there's all the thank goodness there's like a lot of women who have left that kind of lifestyle and, are like were married for 20 plus years or whatever and
Mhm.
now they're starting to tell their stories on TikTok as well. And I'm sure other places, that's just where I am most of the time.
Mhm.
But they'll talk about like this is, when you are financially dependent, like if you get divorced, you lose everything. You don't have any. You
We get
end up with
nothing.
nothing. And a lot of the times, like they do sign prenups or things like that, or the man with means that they were with hires a really good lawyer. They get screwed, whatever.
Mhm.
And so it's really weird and scary. So like these women who are traditionally like in this Mormon culture would be financially dependent on their husbands are all financially independent and extremely successful. And so there's not that part that's holding them back. And I think that does scare a lot of insecure men.
Mhm.
And so I'm interested to see how this all plays out because they don't have that keeping them inside of like a trad wife relationship dynamic.
Mhm.
Um so yeah, I don't know. I have optimism. I would love to see some of them make some major shifts, but I also am not holding my breath. But hey, there's also some crossover stuff talking about LVP. There was some like Vanderpump Villa drama. Was that
Oh,
on the show itself? Can I watch that
yeah,
episode and see it? Cuz
you can watch it. Yeah, it's a little crossover promotional episode thing because Vanderpump Villa is a Vanderpump
I haven't
Rules
watched it
sort of
yet. Yeah.
spin-off, but basically, like, Lisa Vanderpump owns this bed and breakfast thing,
Yeah.
um, and
I do know the premise of the show. I just didn't know. I was like,
you
did
know,
that get aired
so
at all?
the special guests were some of the girls from Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and there's this weird thing. So there's this really he's kinda like the Jax Taylor of Vanderpump Villa. His name is
Oh,
Marciano, uh,
that's a cool name.
and Marciano is like I don't know, he's weird, like, he does this thing I don't like when guys do this, but she's, like, telling him about something, and he's like, "Oh my god, that's so sad. Too much touchy." Like,
Mm,
he was just a l he's too aggressive. I don't like that. Not good. Especially
yeah.
when it's used like, a woman is in an emotionally vulnerable moment, and you're, like, kinda, like, copping a feel in a weird way. It was gross and weird. Uh,
That's so
yeah,
strange.
and it was some, like, just weird, like, boundary line crossing stuff with Demi, and, um, it was odd. But also, it I would not have been surprised if it was Lisa Vanderpump coached because it was perfect. Because 'cause you're
Mm,
watching it, you're like, Marciano, icky." But then in the back of my head, I'm like, "How will this factor into the show?"
yeah.
Basically.
Yeah, I mean, oh gosh, talk about manipulation. Yeah, for sure. That's really interesting. Okay, I'll have to watch that and give my take on that as well. I have so much homework to do. I'm very behind on like all reality TV.
I'm
I've just
disappointed
been
in
like
you.
painting like a loser. That's all I spend my time doing these days.
Wow.
Just logging off and touching grass.
A
So
real Georgia O'Keeffe over here.
well, have you seen my paintings? They're pretty good. Um
No, your paintings are good.
No, I need to get back to being chronically online. What's wrong with me?
Mhm.
So
Sounds
but
like a lot of therapeutic artwork and not a lot of brain rot. I don't know what the issue
Oh my
is.
gosh, she's becoming well-rounded. Before
Oh,
you know it, she'll be self-actualized.
boring.
Scary, scary.
Yeah. You
But
know what's
anyway,
cool? Being mentally ill.
that's what the internet tells me.
Yeah.
So anyway, this episode ends with yeah, like it's like sirens and cops, and I'm like, that always means strippers or someone has food poisoning or a poop baby. I've watched enough reality TV to know that.
Mhm. No, just you
So
wait.
yeah, like, it's never that exciting when it's sirens. It's always something kind of mundane. So that's where I'm at right now. But who knows? Maybe next time we record, I'll be like, these people are not my favorites. I hate all of them. I don't believe any of the things I believed 5 minutes ago. I've changed my mind, and Mom Talk will not survive this.
Will MomTalk survive? Yeah, MomTalk is gonna survive. Yeah, once you know what's gonna ensure that MomTalk survives? Once the season 3 checks start coming in, then
Oh
that's how you
yes.
ensure the survival of MomTalk.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. But yeah, I think it's been interesting so far. I'm excited to see where it goes. And when's Paradise starting? Soon, right? Like in a
July
couple
7th.
weeks?
Mhm.
So we'll have some Mormon wives, we'll have some Paradise.
We have it
And that's
all.
perfect too, because doesn't like Hakeem like make it onto one of the Mormon wives episodes or something like that
Oh,
too?
yeah. So there's a lot there's a lot of
So many
crossover action
crossovers. It hurts my brain.
with crossover events. It's gonna be
I
good
can't
though.
I can't handle it.
We're gonna have so much content.
Yes,
I
we're
hate
gonna
that
have
word. Why
all the
is everything
content.
just content?
I don't know.
I
It
sound like
started
Jerry
like 10
Seinfeld.
years ago. I
"What's the
remember when it
deal?" Yeah.
started. I remember. I was there. I
Uh,
was there the day
I was
content started.
there.
It was actually like 12 years ago. I remember.
You made content a thing.
No, I didn't make content a thing, but I remember when I heard it at a conference and I was like, this is going to become a thing. And it did.
Mhm.
I just knew. It wasn't like they had gotten it from somewhere too, but it wasn't like everybody was saying it. It was like marketers and advertisers were saying it, but like normal people weren't saying it.
No.
So bizarre. And now we all just say, yeah, it's content. Yeah, I went on a rant on LinkedIn and I was like, everything is AI slop. And I painted something and got outside. And so look at it. Look at the thing I made. And it's
Oh my
actually like really
god.
well received. I got really ranty in it. And people were like, that's so beautiful. And I was like, oh, I guess this is how I have to deliver my rants
Mm.
is with a painting. So that's you're gonna see a lot more of that on
That's
your
the trick.
feeds.
That's the trick.
Come look for it. But yeah, so I don't know. We can probably do this in another week or so, and then we'll start doing
Mhm.
Paradise. So I will
Beautiful.
catch up and watch more episodes. We will share more hot takes. But if you like this, please tell us in some way.
Mm,
So,
fucking
and we'll
tell us.
keep making them because this is like a one-off, but
Mhm.
also job security for the
Yeah.
job we don't get paid to do.
Exactly, and I
Yeah.
just I just love the Mormons. I'm watching them, and if I don't like, all I do is I watch trashy reality TV, and, like, I can only talk to the gals at work so much about this stuff,
Yeah.
and I if I don't have this outlet with Sammy, I literally will explode because I have to talk to people
We
about
can't
the
have
dumb
that
things that I
happen.
yeah, yeah,
You
and then
will
it gets
not survive
weird too
this.
when people, like, don't watch this stuff, and then I'm like, "Okay, so," and then I just kinda, like, jump into it, and you just see them like,
I want the notification sound on my phone just to be you going, "I love the Mormons."
I love them. Every time I text you, I
Yeah.
love the Mormons.
I love the Mormons. Oh, wait, hold on.
Steve,
Steve just texted me.
he loves what?
He loves the Mormons. I don't know what to
I
tell
love
you.
them. These
Yeah,
crazy
so
gals and
definitely
their sodas and their bagpiping.
definitely watch that crumble cookie video because it was
Oh, well.
very interesting. It's really fun to watch. Like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember her name. I will look it up quick. But I really like in terms of like ex-Mormons. Oh, Alyssa
Mhm,
Grenfell. Really like Alyssa's stuff. I have not watched any of Alyssa's takes on the Secret Lives of Mormon Wives because I wanted to go in fresh. So like I haven't really
mhm.
watched much of anything or like anytime I've encountered someone's TikTok, I don't even spend that much time on it because I just don't want to be spoiled for it. But she
Yeah.
does have a full like 1.5 hour reaction to the whole season, like what we just did for 2 episodes. Um and then yeah, she ate crumble cookies and recently talked about like crumble and like some like purity film like thing, like those things that like edit
Mhm.
movies to make them clean or
Are you talking about
whatever. And
Angel Vid?
not that one, but the other one.
Oh,
There's like two of them,
I don't know
and she
that
talked
one. I just
about
know
one of
Angel Vid.
them. But
Okay.
but I think she mentioned like Angel Vid as well or whatever it's called. And then she talked about like the garments and the soda shops and all that. So it's very interesting to hear from an ex-Mormon just like about all the loopholes and the way that she interprets those now being on the other side of things. So I highly recommend it. But I also really love Jordan and McKay. So I'll put their channel in the description as well. If you want to hear more from ex-Mormons, they are fantastic. YouTubers. So I will make sure to put their stuff in. And of course, Fundy Fridays as well, because it's just a great. If this becomes a special interest for you as well, I want to give you all the content you can handle. And these are
Mhm.
ones that they have really rich, in depth, fascinating takes on all this stuff, some from personal experience and a lot of research. So really good stuff. The opposite of AI slop, which was the topic on last week tonight as well. Right after I went on that rant on LinkedIn, a few hours later, John Oliver talked about it on his show. Coincidence? I think not.
Mm. He's been reading your feed.
So yeah, so go outside, touch grass, go get yourself a dirty soda.
Yeah, and don't do needle drugs, please.
But ketamine therapy, is that okay?
Yeah, you wanna get into a K-hole so you can touch the hand of God and find self-actualization? Do it.
What about ayahuasca? Do they do that too?
Yeah, you can do that too. Ketamine therapy is ayahuasca without the travel bill.